Chapter 10 mid-chapter quiz review. Feel free to take notes here on these problems because you're going to do the quiz in Think Central, and so the problems will be very, very similar, especially the vocab coming up. These same vocab will be on the quiz. Now, you have area, congruent, parallelogram, and trapezoid. And we talk about congruent like in not chapter 2, lesson 3 on the triangles, because when you cut a parallelogram in half, you're making two congruent triangles. So the first one, number 1, a blank is a quadrilateral with two pairs of parallel sides. So like a rectangle, and a rectangle is a type, this is a parallelogram, because a parallelogram, if you draw it out, it has two sets of parallel sides. So for number 1, you would pick parallelogram, and I just went brain dead on trying to spell parallelogram, even though it was right in front of me. 2, the number of square units needed to cover a surface without any gaps or overlaps is called the what? So we're talking about the inside of the shape, the little squares. When you cover the inside, you're talking about the area. So you would fill in area. And then 3, figures with the same size and shape are what? Well, I just mentioned this. When you cut a parallelogram in half, you're making two congruent triangles, so two shapes that are identical in every way. They're congruent. All right, let's move on to the actual problems. So all you're going to do here is, and this page is going to get a little messy, I can tell you right now, going through and solving these, because I'm not going to use a calculator. I'm going to go old school. Now, the first one is a parallelogram. So remember the formula for a parallelogram. If we're going to find area, it's going to be base times height. So on a paper, you can draw this out. We can solve it together. You're going to do 3 4/10 times 5 7/10. So let's hope that all my multiplication and addition is on point today and I don't make any mistakes. Okay, so 7 times 4 is 28, carry the 2, 7 times 3, 21, plus 2, we got 23, and then 5 times 4 is 20. Carry that 2, 5 times 3, 15, 16, 17. And then we're not done yet because we have 2 decimals. So you're going to move the decimal 1, 2 times. So your answer is 19 3/38 centimeters squared. Okay, 5. 5 is a square. So the area for a square is side squared. So you take whatever your side is times, so you're just going to go 6.5 times 6.5. But I would change these to improper fractions if I were you. So it's really going to be 13 over 2 times 13 over 2. We already know the bottom number is 4. So then we just have to figure out what 13 times 13 is. I want to say it's 169, but I will just double check myself. I was right. Okay, so it's going to be 169. I'm going to erase this right here, just so I'm going to try to keep it somewhat neat because it could get messy. So now you have 169 over 4 because we did side squared, so side times side. Because remember, side squared just means side times sides. Those are S's, not 5's. So now you just need to change your improper fraction back to a mixed number. So 4 goes into 16 4 times. You're going to bring that 9 down. It's going to go in 2 times. Okay, and you have 1 left over. So you're going to put that 1 over the 4. So it's going to be 42 1/4 inches squared. 6, we are doing a triangle. So the formula for a triangle is area equals 1/2 times base times height. So you have to multiply your base and your height, and then you just have to half it. Don't forget to half it. That's what happens a lot. But since you're multiplying, it really doesn't matter what you decide to multiply first. And let me show you what I mean by that. because I'm going to write out my problem and I'm going to plug in all the numbers. So 1/2 times 14 times 8.2. So now, honestly, this is what I would do. I would go ahead and just simplify that first. Why not? Because 2 can go into 14. Okay, so why not? So you're going to simplify the 2 and the 14. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 14 divided by 2, 7. So then all I have left to do is go 7 times 8.2. So I'm going to multiply the 2. 7 times 2 is 14. I'm going to carry that 1. 7 times 8 is 56 plus 1, and I'm going to get 57. And don't forget you have a decimal here, so you need to move it once. So your answer is actually going to be 57 and 4/10 millimeters squared. Okay, and our last one is trapezoid. And that is probably the formula that is most confusing. It's long. Even though, I mean, when you break it down, explain it, it's not as overwhelming as it may seem, but this is why it's really important that you use your notes and you look back. So that one is 1/2 times. Now you have to take your 2 bases and you need to add up your 2 bases times the height. Okay, so here's your formula. Now 18 is a base and 13 is a base. So right away, you want to add up your 2 bases. That's the first thing you want to do when you're dealing with a trapezoid. So that's going to be, what are we going to get? We're going to get 31. Okay, so now this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to write out what I have so far. I've got 1/2 for my formula times, I added up my 2 bases, which was 31, times my height, which is 9. My height is 9. Here's my height. Okay, so now what I would do is I would multiply 31 and 9. Get that? Okay, you're going to get 279 when you multiply. So first thing I would do is multiply those two. So then this is what you have left. You have 1/2 times 279 over 1, which means 279 over 2, because you're just going to multiply across. Now, this one is just like number 5. See, we had the 169 over 4. We had a big improper fraction. Well, we have a big improper fraction here too, 279 over 2. So I need you to divide the bottom number into the top. Change it back to a mixed number. So you're going to go 2 into 279. See if I can do this without running out of space. We all know it's not going to go in evenly. So now 2 times 3 gives me 6. That's as close as I can get to 7 as possible, and I'm going to subtract. I get 1 left over, and then I'm going to bring down that final number, that 9. And then you're going to go 2 into 19, which is going to be 9 times, because that's going to be 18. Okay? You're going to have 1 left over. So therefore, you're going to put that 1 over the 2. So that's going to be your answer. Your answer is going to be 139 and 1/2 centimeters squared. That's going to be your answer. Okay, 8 and 9. Let's see. So for 8, here's what 8 looks like. 8 is a parallelogram, okay? And we know the area. The area is 276 meters squared. And the base is 12 meters. But the height is what's missing. We don't know the height, okay? So remember, the formula is area equals base times height. So you're going to fill in everything. You're going to have 276 is my area equals my base is 12 times h. So this is a multiplication equation. So since it's a multiplication equation, you want the opposite to solve it. So that means you're going to divide. You're going to divide both sides by 12, because you got an equal here. You got to keep both sides the same. So now I just need you to figure out how many times 12 can go into 276. So we know that it can go 2 times, because that's 24. We're going to have 3 left over, and we're going to bring that 6 down. And then 12 into 36 is 3 times. So guess what? Our height is 23 meters. Now 9, we have a triangle. So the base of a triangle is 8 inches. We do not know the height. And we know that the area is 136 inches squared. So we're going to plug this all into the formula. Remember, the formula is area equals 1/2 times base times height. Okay, so we're going to go 136 equals 1/2 times 8 times h. So the first thing we need to do is we need to simplify this right here, the 1/2 times 8. So what that means is that you're just halving 8. What's half of 8? 4. So now it's 136 equals 4 times h. So you have a multiplication equation here, which means you need to use the opposite of multiplication to solve it. So you're going to divide. You're going to divide both sides by 4. Okay, so I need you to figure out how many times can 4 go into 136. So 4 into 13 goes 3 times, because that's 12. And then 4 into 16 is 4 times. That means that our height is this right here. It's 34 inches. Moving on. 10. The height of a parallelogram is 3 times the base. Okay, so here's our parallelogram. The base, here's our base. Our base is 4.5 centimeters. Now our height is 3 times that. It's telling you what to do there. 3 times. So 4.5 times 3. 3 times the base. So 3 times 4.5. So you're going to go 3 times 5. Then you're going to carry that 1. 3 times 4 plus 1. Okay, and you've got a decimal. Okay, so that's our height. That's not our final answer. So don't stop there. Okay, so now we know what the height is. We know that the height is 13 and 5/10 centimeters. Our base is 4 and 5/10 centimeters. Now, what's the area? It wants you to find the area. And remember, the area is base times height. So you're going to take 13 and 5/10 times 4 and 5/10. So you're going to go 5 times 5, and you're going to carry that 2. 3 times 5, 15. 16, 17. You're going to carry 1. Make it 6. Okay, then you're going to go 4 times 5 is 20. You're going to carry that 2. 4 times 3 is 12. 13, 14. You're going to carry 1. You're going to get a 5. Okay, now you're just going to add it all up. And you're going to move that decimal 2 times. And so that's your area. Your area is 60 and 75 centimeters squared. Now 11, we're dealing with a triangle. Okay, triangular window pane has a base of 30, and it has a height of 24. Okay, they're both inches. So now you're just going to plug that stuff into the formula. Remember, the formula is area equals 1/2 times base times height, because we have triangles here. So then we're going to do 1/2 times 30 times 24. So it's up to you how you really want to do this. You can multiply these two, 30 times 24, which really isn't that hard, because you just need to figure out 24 times 3. So 24 times 3 is going to be 72. And then you're going to add a 0 on the end. So then this becomes 1/2 times 720. Okay, so all you're doing is just dividing 720 by 2. So if you have 720, and you're going to divide that by 2. So you're going to go 2 into 7 3 times. Then you bring that 2 down. So now 2 into 12 6. You don't stop here. Your answer is not 36, because think about it. Does that even make sense to say, what's half of 720? Oh, it's 36. No, it doesn't make sense. So 0, even though it's all zeros from here on out, you can't stop. 2 goes into 0, 0 times. So that's actually your answer. So the area is 360 inches squared. All right, so we have our answer for 10, we have our answer for 11. We are actually almost done. It's a pretty short quiz. Again, this one's just practice, and then you can go on to Think Central and do the one there. Okay, so the courtyard behind Jenny's house is shaped like a trapezoid. So it's gonna look something like this, okay? And it says the bases measure, so they measure 8 meters and 11 meters. And then the height is 12 meters. So what we're going to do, remember the formula, that really long formula where we have to add up our two bases. Okay, so here's our formula. 1/2 times the sum of base 1, base 2 times height. So first thing you want to do is you want to add up those bases. So you have 8 and 11. That's going to be 19. Okay, so this is what your formula is going to look like. Now, as you start plugging in numbers, we're going to put 19 here because we just added 8 plus 11. That's our two bases, times our height, which is 12. Okay, so now there's different ways to do this. I'm just going to go and do 19 times 12 real quick. So 2 times 9, 18. 2 times 1, so we get 38. And then we get... oops, not 99. Goodness gracious, I'm glad I caught that. 1 times 9, 1 times 1. That would have been a really big number. So we get 228. So now you have 1/2 times 228. So when you multiply 19 times 12, you get 228. So now you want to half that. So you have 228, and you want to half it by 2. You want to divide it by 2. And you're going to get 114. So that's your answer. 114 meters squared. Okay, I think we just have 2 left. Yes, we do. 13. Okay, so it's a rectangle. And this is, okay, there's a lot here. Rugs sell for $8 per square foot. Okay, we don't know how many square feet we have here. Beth bought a 9-foot long rectangular rug for $432. So how wide was the rug? Okay, so this is what we know so far. We know that it's 9 feet, but we don't know the width. So the first thing we want to do is we want to come back to the $432 and the 8 square feet. So they paid $8 per square foot. So how many square feet did they have then? Because they spent a total of 432. So what you want to do is you want to take your 432 and you want to divide it by 8. So 8 into 43 is going to be 5 times. Okay. Which is 40. Then you're going to subtract and you're going to bring that 2 down. So now 8 into 32, 4 times. So now that means the area of this rug is 54 feet squared. Okay, so what I want you to think about, 9 times what will give you 54? 6. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to erase this question mark and I'm going to put a 6 feet. So my width is 6 feet. That's my answer. Now the last one is pretty easy. It's a square. And we know with squares, all sides are the same. So all sides are 18 inches. So the area for a square is side squared. So side times side. So all you have to do is go 18 times 18. And we get 324. to 324 inches squared. And that's your answer. And that's all there is to the quiz, 14 problems, and that's it. So now the ones on Think Central are going to be really similar to this. So if you took notes, then you should do pretty well on it.